Chapter 7 Bibi and Les. On October 27, 1987, Rabbi Herbert Friedman sent the following correspondence to then U.S. Senator Patrick Moynihan of New York. Dear Senator Moynihan, I serve as the president of a private foundation whose purpose it is to provide an intensive education in the Jewish heritage and its universal message for mankind to a carefully selected group of students in each community where we work. The group in each city consists of 35 to 40-year-olds, both men and women, who are functioning in a voluntary leadership capacity in their communities. They are very bright, highly motivated, really committed to improving the conditions of life. We are now working in 9 cities and will expand each year by adding 4 more. A major question of the day is the matter of ethical behavior on the part of people who function as leaders. We are conducting a weekend conference on that subject in February 1988 at the Palm Beach Hyatt Hotel. Approximately 200 persons will gather from the 9 communities. I am enclosing a copy of the draft program so that you can see what we are planning. We would love to have you be the keynote speaker on Saturday night, February 20th, 1988, on the subject of ethics in government. You would be delivering a very important message to a very significant group of people, with the latitude to handle the subject any way you see fit. The topic is certainly broad enough for you to emphasize whatever you wished. We are very pleased to offer a fine honorarium, and perhaps it would be more elegant if we discussed this item in person. Also, we would be pleased if you and your wife could find the time to accept our hospitality for the entire weekend. That does not mean that you have any obligations other than the Saturday night speech. What I am saying very simply is that you are welcome to come down for the weekend, bask in the sun, go sightseeing, or sleep. A February weekend in Florida is not unpleasant. I truly hope you can be with us and look forward to your speedy reply. Sincerely yours, Rabbi Herbert Friedman. On the weekend of February 19th, 20th, and 21st, 1988, the Wexner Heritage Foundation hosted a weekend retreat at the Palm Hotel in West Palm Beach, Florida. The theme of the conference was Models of Ethical Leadership and was dedicated to the memory of Dr. Bruce Siegel of Columbus, Ohio. There were over 200 attendees at the conference from 9 different cities. All Wexner Heritage students arrived on Friday, February 19th, 1988 for an afternoon registration at the Palm Hotel. The Friday activities included a light lunch and registration, a presentation introducing the conference by Rabbi Herbert Friedman, and the first session involving the topic Models of Ethical Leadership, a lecture led by Professor Pinchas Pelly. For the remainder of Friday, there were session workshops where all of the attendees participated in different classes by Wexner Heritage faculty. At 6 p.m., there was a candle lighting ceremony, followed by a Shabbat service, and then a dinner that had the special featured guest, the Honorable Abba Eban, a member of the Israeli Knesset. At 8:30, there was the keynote speaker, which was Mr. Les Wexner, the chairman, in the Regency West Ballroom. The topic was Ethics in the Business World. The second day of the conference on Saturday, February 20th, 1988, began with a breakfast and a morning prayer service. For the remainder of the day, all of the attendees participated in 3 different sessions that were all led by different faculty discussing different elements of judicial leadership. Topics included the manipulation of judicial power, ethics and deception, what is different about Jewish ethics, and the ethical dilemma of kingship. On Saturday afternoon, all attendees participated in session number 2, which focused on ethics in the financial marketplace, the Jewish communal life, and Jewish education. There was free time in the afternoon, and all of the attendees reconvened in the Regency West Ballroom at 6:15 for an Orthodox service, and then a ceremony and dinner. The evening was topped off by a keynote address. However, Senator Moynihan was unable to attend the conference, and the keynote speaker was Benjamin Netanyahu. In 1988, Benjamin Netanyahu was the ambassador to the United Nations from the State of Israel. Ambassador Netanyahu was the keynote speaker for the weekend conference. Ambassador Netanyahu was appointed the representative to the United Nations for Israel in September of 1984. From 1982 to 1984, Netanyahu served as Israel's deputy ambassador to the United States. Before entering diplomatic life, Mr. Netanyahu was a soldier, businessman, and author. Ambassador Netanyahu served for 5 years in the Israeli Defense Forces from 1967 to 72. He volunteered for a special paratroop unit and graduated as an outstanding cadet at Officer Training School. As a paratroop officer, he led many operations, was cited for outstanding command, and was promoted to captain following the Yom Kippur War. After completing undergraduate and Masters of Science studies at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, and the Sloan School of Management in 1976, Mr. Netanyahu joined the Boston Consulting Group as a management consultant and later the senior management of RIM Industries in Jerusalem. Since 1976, Netanyahu has been a director of the Jonathan Institute, a Jerusalem foundation researching terrorism that's named after his brother, who fell while leading the rescue force of Entebbe in 1976. Mr. Netanyahu was the chief organizer of the Institute's first and second conferences on international terrorism. These conferences were attended by leading statesmen, scholars, and journalists from the Western world who discussed ways to combat terrorism. Many observers viewed these gatherings as turning points in the world's understanding of how to wage the war against international terrorism. Mr. Netanyahu is the editor of Terrorism, How the West Can Win, International Terrorism, Challenge and Response, and The Letters of Jonathan Netanyahu. After concluding his keynote address in the Regency West Ballroom, the evening concluded on the tennis terrace with some entertainment from Yoel Sharabi. On Sunday, February 21st, 1988, the final day of the conference began with an Orthodox morning service at 7 a.m., followed by a breakfast in the Regency West Ballroom. Conference concluded with session number 3, which included the topic Living Models of Ethical Leadership in the Jewish Community, with speakers Leonard Fine and Rabbi Shalom Lipikar, which took place in the Regency East Ballroom. Following a summary presentation by Rabbi Friedman and Rabbi Nathan Laufer, all attendees departed for the weekend.